Gonna be bringing something to you a little bit special or a little cool, in my opinion, because it's a shadow deck, which is obviously one of my favorites in terms of just overall archetypes in Magic and Modern and period. But um, obviously, this one we have a bit more of an aggressively slanted build, less traditional in the sense that it's not a Jund shadow deck, it's not a Grixis shadow deck, but it's a new take on the deck that was all enabled by this guy right here, Scourge of the Skyclaves. Which, if you don't know this card, it's a bit complicated, but pretty much what you need to know is its power and toughness is equal to 20 minus the highest life total of each player or whatever. So among the total players. So this has kind of made the deck, as I mentioned a second ago, a bit more of an aggressively slanted build. So much to the fact that now we're even incorporating Bump in the Night and Lava Spikes in our deck, which initially I was a bit suspect on. No removal, no street wraiths, or no removal aside from Lightning Bolt, no street wraiths. These are some things that you don't typically see in most shadow lists. So I was a bit curious on how this build of the deck would work out, but I ended up playing it in the Managed Trader Series qualifying event, and while I didn't qualify, I thought the deck was quite impressive, just with how it enacted its game plan and how effective the bumps and such were, enabling Scourge, and overall just how good Scourge was. I was unsure if this was really going to be a playable card, or especially with how much hype it had gotten, kind of the new Tarmogoyf, so to speak. So I was definitely not sold on that without playing, but after playing, I think it is much better than Tarmogoyf, and card is certainly the real deal. So that being said, this is a bit of a mesh between prowess and kind of the old Zoo, Jund Shadow type archetypes. And this stems from the one and only Andy J. Andrew Jessup, of course, who is one of the best to play the Star City circuit. And I know he gave the deck to Edgar, who ended up using it to qualify for the Mana Trader Series event. So I do think this is going to be a big player going forward. And I'm not going to say this with full confidence, but I might even go as far to say that it is like the new premier shadow archetype. I'm not going to say that 100% yet, but hey, we're about to play a league. Maybe we'll get a little more info on that. But just going over to the deck specifics real quick. Mana base, very straightforward. I love it. In fact, 12 fetch lands, 4 shocks, and 2 basics. Perfect there. Threat base, we have a full 16, the standard red 1-drops, and then Shadow, and now, of course, Scourge, pretty standard there. I kind of gave a little explanation already on why we're playing all these spikes and bumps. It does look a little weird, only the 4 cyclers, only 4 removal spells, but I do think, these go hand in hand with the Scourges. And then a third Teamer Battle Rage, again, kind of hinting back at the old Zoo Shadow days, with the Mutagenesis as well, to help protect our 1-drops, as well as just make Scourge a more potent threat, protected from Lightning Bolt too. So I think these cards in high numbers, I think make a lot of sense for those purposes. And on the point of saving Scourge from Lightning Bolt, a lot of the play patterns you'll see with this deck are turn 1 Lava Spike, turn 2 Scourge, and if your opponent hasn't dealt themselves any damage, it's definitely nice to be able to, again, protect your guy from Lightning Bolt in that situation. The sideboard, I was a little unsure about. Still am going forward. I feel like it's a bit, it's kind of lacking some cards in maybe like the grindy matchups or even the land matchups. So I might look at reassessing, maybe like cutting some of these 2-drop removal spells. Excuse me, but I'm not quite sure what for yet. I just found myself, when I was playing the series, that I often wouldn't find use of my sideboard cards if I wasn't playing a creature matchup. So I might re-examine this, but just going over it briefly, we have some Tormod's Crypt and Fatal pushes, pretty standard, and no explanation needed there. Collective Brutality, which I think is a card that should start seeing less play in Modern. I think it was its main purpose was just a premier hate card for Spurn, and now that Burn has really fallen out of favor in for these prowess decks, Brutality play is there. Of course, it's going to kill the prowess creatures if they don't have a spell up, and its most effective use is killing Lurrus, but overall, it's just not the same type of effective card. It's really just a 2-mana removal spell a lot of the time, so I might look at maybe trimming or just cutting these. And then Ingrass Rampage, which I like. I do think Boggles is well positioned, some amount of artifact hate. Edicts come in handy. And then Feed the Swarm, which is a new card, which I do like. As a just overall Doomblade that helps enable your game plan as well. So and then of course our companion Lurrus. So anyways, that about breaks it down. I do think this deck's really good going forward. It definitely struggles with humans. But I think its 4-color Uro matchup is strong. I think it's probably favored in the other prowess matchups because of the suite of big creatures. So I do think this deck is really good going forward, and I'm definitely going to be exploring it more. So let's get into our league, see how it plays, and thanks for watching this Deck Tech.